Hello and welcome back to the Eastman Sport Report, your father's son, coach player podcast by the Sacramento Kings and the San Francisco 49ers. I'm your host, Max Eastman, joined once again by my co-host, Steven Eastman.
Hello there, Max. Hello, everyone out there listening to us. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Eastman Sport Report. I'm excited. I'm excited about this NBA draft. This is exciting stuff here. I've got pages and pages of notes. We got tabs up and ready to go here to talk about this thing. I'm excited. I was excited watching the draft last night. So we were watching the draft. I was watching the draft. So
I'm a very sleepy guy. Is what else? I was taking a nap.
Yeah, I texted him and I was done with work.
Well, I woke up like 10 minutes, or not even 10. I woke up like 5 minutes after the pick was made.
Anyway, okay, I'm watching the draft by myself. I'm excited. I turned it on. I got off of work, specifically blocked it off my work calendar so I can go watch this draft. I'm watching it, and when it comes up to the first thing you gotta say here. Did you know that A.J. DeBonce's real name? When they said, I can't even say it. Was it Anna? I forget his real name, but like
full name, you were like, wait a minute,
who is that?
And then they said DeBonce.
Oh, DeBonce. I'm like, okay, that's who it is. So I do have to say,
scared a little bit.
Yeah, you have to I was listening to it, and you're like, this time I technically was still driving home. I got home by like the second or third pick. Anyway, the first pick is over on the radio, and I'm like, who?
Ancient?
Yeah, and you're like...
I'm not ancient, but...
No, that's not how you pronounce it. That is nowhere close to how you pronounce it. But anyway...
I don't know how to say it.
I think it's his dad's name, I think I heard. Anyway, wanted to shout out to his dad and get the full name. That was a little surprising. Like, who is the first pick? I'm picking either AJ or Darren Peterson. The other thing I have to say is the first four picks completely, as everybody for like months have been predicting, this is exactly how it's going, and hey, that's how it is. And then it got to the Los Angeles Clippers, which we said last episode, and everybody knew that's when the draft's going to get a little exciting. And it ended up being quite boring, as in people have been saying for 6 weeks since the lottery, Keaton Wagler, number 5. And I'm like, okay. In the last 24 hours before the draft, we were hearing Keaton Wagler and Mikael Brown are probably going 5 and 6.
Yes.
So we get to number 6. When Mikael Brown was announced for the Nets, I was a little nervous because in the draft, when they're showing it, the Nets had their pick in, and they were all excited showing the Nets war room. I don't know if you saw this part. Yeah. They were super excited, and I'm like, ooh, did they pick ACUFF? I'm not thinking, okay, no. They just liked who they picked, which if you're picking number 6, you better like who you're picking. I hope you do. And this is well of a draft. You better pick somebody you like. Okay, so they're just 100%. Excited. When they said Mikael Brown, I was like, yes, I was excited. And then when they said the Kings picked, I stood up, and I'm like, yes, we got ACUFF.
It feels great to have a good GM, is what it's like, because there's so many years with Monte McNair, with Vlade Divac. Basically, my entire Sacramento Kings fan existence.
Pete D'Alessandro.
Pete D'Alessandro, not as much. I don't remember him as much.
Oh,
but
he was horrible.
But Vlade Divac was bad drafter. Monte McNair was an okay drafter.
He had some good.
I don't think he had any stinkers. It just was then none of them turned out great.
Well, Halliburton.
Well, you traded Halliburton.
Yeah, and then you ended up with Devin Carter as your last pick. So you're like, those are the two extremes.
I don't. When I look at that draft, I don't say that was a great pick by Monte McNair. I say that I see that as they go wait, he's still available.
Oh, Halliburton?
Yeah,
Halliburton.
He's still available of all people. And
he was supposed to go at 5. So that was an interesting pick. But I actually think, if you go back to that pick, Halliburton kind of wanted to go to the Kings. Now, this one, ACUFF was much more vocal. Now, he didn't specifically say it before the draft, but there's ways you can say it in that type of thing. Is you can you have your agent say it, or a family member can tell the media, ACUFF, he wants to go to the Sacramento Kings. And this is, I don't know if I want to say 100%, high 90% probability this is because of Scott Perry. Because if you also think about it, last time Scott Perry had a high draft pick and was assistant GM for the Kings, was the only time Vlade Divac made a smart draft pick when he picked De'Aaron Fox. Scott Perry worked for the Kings for 3 months, and then went off to do the Knicks. But he was instrumental in drafting De'Aaron Fox. He was instrumental in making sure that De'Aaron Fox was available for that draft pick. Scott Perry was instrumental in making sure that Darius Acuff was available for position number 7 for the Kings to get there.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did it. I don't know how much influence he had, but almost everybody knew the Sacramento Kings wanted Darius Acuff, but they were willing to wait. And everybody knew that Acuff wanted to go to the Kings, which is an amazing thought that he wanted to go there. And he ended up there.
Yeah. And what I'd say is that for what we've heard from Darius Acuff is that even in the locker room and with he's not the most vocal person, even if he's like your star player in Arkansas. He's not the loudest voice in the room, sort of like how Fox was. He was never the loudest voice. But it's just the fact that we know that he wanted to go to Sacramento and he doesn't even talk that much about his own the stuff of what he wants, and just he's sort of a selfless guy. It's very showing how much both Scott Perry, how well the job Scott Perry did with scouting this guy, and all the other stuff that they did with Darius Acuff. And there are other 2 draft picks as well of Alex Karaban and Emanuel Sharp.
Yeah. So let's jump into a little bit of who Darius Acuff is. So it's amazing.
For if you don't know and you haven't watched our last podcast episode.
Yeah, we're going to recap some of the amazing things about Darius Acuff and what to expect with him. I'm going to read some different clips, not only my own thoughts, but reading a little bit of where he's at. I like this from The Ringer. It says, Scott Perry prophecy is fulfilled. Acuff has been linked to the Kings here for months because of family ties. But even if he's a total stranger, his mentality and presence on the court would bring a combination of stability and talent the Kings haven't seen since De'Aaron Fox. Skipping down a little bit here, time will certainly tell how much he works to improve out his defense and how flexible he is in scaling into low usage roles. But Acuff's talent is undeniable. He becomes one of the most mastermind game managers in the league. If you look at some of the comparisons, does this have comparisons? I think it does. I don't know if I really like these comparisons. They're thrown in there. That's an interesting vision board. Some of the comparisons, if you look at how big he is, he's almost exactly the same height, weight, age. I don't know about age.
Build
as Damian Lillard.
And Jalen Brunson.
And
he has very, very similar stats to... I forget if it's either Jalen Brunson's coming out of college stats or Jalen Brunson's stats from this season.
Yeah, so I think we covered this a little last time. So he averaged 23.5 points per game.
As a freshman?
6.4 assists per game, 3.1 rebounds. You're like, hey, he's a point guard. 3.1 rebounds. It's not bad, actually. His, let's see here, his steals per game weren't that great. Who cares about blocking for a 6-foot guard? The thing that I love is his three-point shooting was 44%. I think I read somewhere else that his last 12 or 13 games, he averaged 48% from three.
That's really, really good.
This guy's a walking bucket. Like, you walk out there, and he is the thing I've been hearing about other people talking about him, Coach Calipari and other people know him. He is a total gym rat.
Yeah.
Calipari was talking today and other things about how he did not go home for Christmas this last off season, or not during the last season. During the last season, they usually have a week off for Christmas. He did not go home. He says, I got things to work on in the gym. You're like, this guy is a gym rat. He just loves to play. He loves to compete. He loves to compete so much that Calipari was talking about the time where he was, I forget what game it was, but it might have been in early January. A little bit after that, he had a hurt foot. His foot was actually in a boot for 3 days, and Calipari's like, oh, maybe we did just shut down. And he's like, no, we just lost a game. I'm not shutting it down. I'm playing the next game. And I think that was the game he went out and scored 49 points in double overtime. You're like, this guy loves to compete, loves to play. If you talk about toughness, Acuff is your tough player. He can get you a bucket in any way, shape, or form. They talk about 3-level scoring. He is that. He has a gifted 44 later in the season, just amazing three-point shooting, and he is not taking easy shots. Like, these are not catch. I probably had a couple catch and shoot, but he had tons of off the dribble, tons of self-creation threes, tons of deep threes. Just an amazing shooter. Here's the things here. He's built like a running back, sturdy frame at 19-year-old, broad shoulders, big arms. Doesn't get flattened. You absolutely cannot leave him as a catch and shoot player. So yes, he does hit those, but like he's creating a lot here. Overall, he's up 49% on catch and shoot attempts. Creating shoot, he had a lot of success for creating shots by him by himself. I loves the plays with great pace. That's a thing that Doug Christie says a lot.
Yeah.
Play with pace. Extremely aggressive, pushing the tempo. Okay, maybe he's not as fast as Kingston Fleming and De'Aaron Fox. Okay, who cares? But does he play with the pace? Does he play with the right pace? Serious 3-level scoring, shooting. Yeah, you can hear my flip my pages here. Also, did a superb job of getting the foul line. Hey, that's an important part. Is if you want to be able to be the leading scorer on a team, a good team, you got to be able to get to the SGA is a master at that. There's so many other players that are the amazing players in the league get that. Terrific shooter. We already talked about that. Pull-up shooter. His biggest skill improvement for the season came as a passer. I've saw so many clips where he made his teammates better. That's where he got better. That's where you get the 6.1 assists from. His lob, his ability to throw lobs. Dylan Cardwell, Maxine Renault, Daquan Plowden, Precious Achua. Of course, those last two they need to re-sign.
Hopefully.
That's a whole other conversation. Precious Achua supposedly wants to resign. The Kings supposedly want to, but with the other money. Anyway, if they keep those type of players or somebody like him, lob threat, and then I think somebody else was we got here was able to get to throw that. So he can do just about anything you want on offense, and he does it amazing.
This is probably the most positively received Kings draft pick that I can remember, besides probably De'Aaron Fox, and even then I was like 8-something years old, so that I don't remember it that well. CBS Sports gave this draft pick a A-. YahooSports.com gave this draft pick an A+, and then ESPN gave this a C-. ESPN, what are you doing?
I don't know what this is.
They also gave Darren Peterson like a B, and you're like, or the Utah Jazz a B for picking Darren Peterson. Who the heck would you have wanted them to pick?
So that's where you like whoever did the grades for that.
And then
unless they're saying B is like, okay, you expected you to do a B something, and you did exactly what you expected, so you get a B.
And then the Athletic gave the Kings also an A-. So this is, and I've seen so many people like, man, I want, like so many other people like, man, I wanted ACUFF on my team. And it's like the amount of people that are like so excited that are Kings fans that are excited that we have Darius ACUFF. If you've seen the crowd reactions on either Instagram or YouTube of the Golden One Center live NBA draft reaction for not only Michael Brown being picked before Darius ACUFF, because that meant we then got Darius ACUFF, but also the crowd pop of when we drafted Darius ACUFF.
And that's so Sacramento Kings are smart. They know, like, hey, he's not, we want Michael Brown picked. That's a great thing.
Yeah. And then it's really good to see. I don't think Monte McNair ever did this, but Scott Perry called in from the war room.
It's probably in the same building.
But he called in to Golden One Center. He put it on the Jumbotron. He talked to all the fans in the arena saying, like, we're very excited for this player. We got exactly who we wanted. We're glad to see what is going to go for the future of him, for the future of this team. And we're also not done in this draft, so you can stay excited, which shows we're not, he means business by us drafting Alex Karaban with the 29th pick in the first round.
Yeah, we'll get to the other picks later. I'm not done with ACUFF yet here.
But it's just the intelligence of a Sacramento Kings GM is actually like
how many, when you read some of the national guys, not just on the ACUFF pick, like, wow, the Sacramento Kings did something smart. So yes.
Yeah, like if I let me go to CBS because they talked well about us. Let me go up to them. This is exactly what Sacramento wanted, and they didn't have to trade up to get him. that kind of sums up exactly what we wanted. It's like we basically the entire way through this last season, the names that were associated with the Kings were like obviously the top picks of Darren Peterson, AJ DeBonsa, Cameron Boozer, when we were in that discussion of being a top pick. But the entire time we were there, Darius Acuff's name was also mentioned in the same breath as those people. So it's just great to see those. I do want to mention some stuff about Darius Acuff and people who have been compared to. So this is from NBADraft.net. It's a draft thing that gives scores and other long-winded answers and other stuff for all players going into the draft, all players that have been drafted. And I want to compare Darius Acuff to some other notable names that have sort of a similar build to him. So one thing I do want to point out is that they give him a jump shot of 9, which if you go back to Jalen Brunson, they gave him a jump shot of 8. Now, Jalen Brunson I think he was a second-round pick. He was a second-round pick. He was big. He was ranked as the 33rd overall prospect in his draft class. I don't remember the exact pick he was picked from.
He was in the 30s. It was it was a high second-round pick.
So it's the show they're already saying that coming straight out of college, Darius Acuff is a better shooter than Jalen Brunson, the guy who just won Finals MVP. The one other
now he's got to live up to that.
Yes,
that's
definitely.
A lot to live up to. We're not saying he's going to be as good as Jalen Brunson, but like he could be.
His ball handling is rated an 8. His potential is at a 9. I think it should be a 10, but that's obviously. I think I have a little bias.
Yeah, I
saying
know.
That.
We want him to be a 10.
And then passing is at an 8. Intangibles is at a 7. And then if we go back to Jalen Brunson, his ball handling is also at an 8. His potential is at a 6. But his passing is at an 8, and his intangibles is at an 8. But Jalen Brunson's athleticism was rated at a 6. Darius Acuff's is rated at a 7. Darius Acuff has an 8 on defense. Jalen Brunson has a 7 on defense. It's just to see how close the Finals MVP, his comparison-wise, is to the 7th overall draft pick by the Sacramento Kings is crazy. I would also like to bring up Steph Curry. One of the only things that Steph Curry outdoes on these rankings of Darius Acuff is his jump shot, where he has a 10 instead of a 9 that Darius Acuff does. But they have the same ball handling. They have Darius Acuff has a better potential ranking. Darius Acuff is rated as a better passer, and they have the same amount of intangibles. And then Darius Acuff is also listed as more athletic and better at defense and stronger than Steph Curry, which means that if you're this close to Steph Curry, but obviously Darius Acuff is probably
this is coming out of college.
Now,
I think Curry was the 7th overall pick, right? The Warriors. Yes.
7th overall pick.
Same as Acuff.
Point guard. So I'm not saying, but I'm saying. But if the only thing that is different than you from Steph Curry is that you're a step down from his shooting, probably. Now, I think Steph Curry versus everyone else is a different conversation.
He's a step above everybody, so if you're a step below Steph Curry...
That's really good.
That's okay.
That's really good. So Darius Acuff is a machine at shooting. He not only does he create for himself and is able to, you were saying that earlier before the podcast, he has a really good jab and crossover that he likes to do. He can create. He has good ISO skills, but he's also a very good passer as well.
I love his passes. You see some of the passes he makes. Yes,
it's just the great passing that he has. I think did he average 6 assists?
Yeah, 6.1.
6.1 assists. Led the SEC in assists.
Sorry, 6.4.
6.4, close enough. Led the SEC in assists as well as points. The first player to do it since Pistol Pete Maravich as well. But it just the I would say almost NBA readiness of Darius Acuff is amazing. And the reason why I keep bringing up Jalen Brunson, Steph Curry, I'd also say Damian Lillard, but I don't have his stats up with me, is everyone says they're these really good players. They have these really good offensive stuff, and they're good passers and all this stuff. But they're not as good as defense. And I'm like, okay, the only person I would be concerned about defensive wise is Steph Curry if he was on my team. but he's Steph Curry. He's going to go make up for it on the other end of the court. If they hit a three, he's going to pull up from half court and drain it.
Yeah, no one talks about Jalen Brunson or Damian Lillard having a great defense.
They're not bad defenders.
Yeah. So I think the other thing I have to say about his defense, yes, his defense has to improve. 100% agree. He even agrees. Mm-hmm. That's what Doug Christie's for. As a coach, and that's what was my role. I was kind of the defensive assistant on the team this year. That's what you coach. That's what your job is. Mm-hmm. You're the coach. You're the coach to touch some defense. Like if you get Doug Christie out there, he's like, let me talk about defense, and some more defense. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's your project. Now, when we get to some of the other guys, they're really good at defense.
Yes.
So, okay, but this is also the point I want to bring out here is Scott Perry signed as a free agent Jalen Brunson. And he did most of the players that the Knicks had to win the championship. He got most of those.
Yes.
So he knows how to build a team around a small, amazing guard. Mm-hmm. He's done it before. No, I'm not saying he's going to get that, there's probably got to be some luck and some other things to happen to make that actually happen.
Yeah, 100%.
But he knows what to do, is the point. He knows how to make it work around that kind of player. Uh-huh. And he went and got the special player. Mm-hmm. And so... And Scott Perry was also on. I don't think he was the general manager, but he was on the team when they got the Detroit Pistons one as a team. Scott Perry knows how to build a team, and so anyway, so that's some of that. There. So some of the other quotes here about Acuff. This is from Calipari, his coach. He doesn't take a day off. He lives in the gym. If you're looking for a guy to get better, I'm sorry, you gotta love in the gym. Oh, another thing I heard him say. It's not in this quote. I heard him another quote about Calipari says. What was it exactly? Something about he's comfortable being alone, which basically means when you're a gym rat type of thing, you have to be able to be comfortable to practice by yourself and get better by yourself, that you're self-motivated. You don't need somebody else there to go get you, to help you come out there and go to the gym, go out and practice. He is comfortable by himself, practicing by himself. That's the competitive, that's the drive that you see. I don't know why recently, but I've heard stories recently, maybe it comes up in my feed, of what Kobe Bryant did. I'm not saying it's going to be that, but the self-drive, just that comparison of being comfortable being alone, the competitiveness, the gym rat aspect, like that's a coach's dream. Yeah. And Doug Christie's going to love this guy. Now, Doug Christie's got to work on his defense.
And if you're in the Sacramento Kings situation where you're having a culture reset, you're rebuilding for the future, you want a player like Darius Acuff to come be a culture builder, to be the gym rat that goes in and spends 10, 12, 15 something hours on the weekends when he's not playing 50 hours a week. During the off season, just to work on his game, to lift weights, to fix his dribble, to make sure he can move quicker laterally for defense. Just have a leader like Darius Acuff in the locker room of saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go to the gym if anyone wants to go," and it's like, and if no one goes, okay, fine, I'll go work out by myself, man. And I think that what the Kings and what Scott Perry is doing of trying to build a new culture, a younger culture around the Kings. I think it's working. I think they're getting the right building blocks. I do need to see how they fit together.
And I got to see what he does with all the veterans, because last year's team was really old. I've heard some. I don't know if we'll get a chance to get into it, but like, what's possibly going to do with DeMar DeRozan? Like, okay, he in some ways he probably doesn't want to be back. And like Zach LaVine, what are you doing with Zach LaVine? What do you do about Sabonis? There's rumors on ESPN about, okay, teams are actually interested in Sabonis, which is great.
Yeah,
but also the aspect is like, who's the one player that Acuff says he's excited to go play with is Sabonis. Like, so out of all the veterans on the team, like if Sabonis stays, I'm not against it.
The only like main veteran that I want to stay on the team that isn't DeMar DeRozan. I want DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, and Sabonis to leave, but like at least for one more season, the type of person that I want to go be on the Kings to help mentor Darius Acuff, to go help mentor Nick Clifford and the other young guys who are coming in. Russell Westbrook.
I thought you were going to say Malik Monk.
Malik Monk as well, but
I could see Russell Westbrook. Would he come back and be the backup point guard?
Or
would he sit the bench because you have Malik Monk? I don't know, but
if you remember De'Aaron Fox's rookie year in Sacramento,
Mm-hmm.
he had Vince Carter
And
George Hill as his mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Vince Carter, an exceptional point guard, and George Hill, who's going to be a really, really good coach someday. He's got a massive. He's a great basketball IQ.
Mm-hmm.
But the only. I want Darius Acuff to go learn like defense and rebounding from Russell Westbrook, because I don't think Russ needs to teach him scoring or assist. I need Westbrook he's not a great defender, but he's a good defender.
Yeah.
And he's a really good
he's
rebounder.
Not horrible out
yes.
there. Yes. He's kind of middle of the road. Yeah.
So if Darius Acuff could, if any veteran out there could take Darius Acuff under their wing, I want it to be Russell Westbrook.
Because most likely you're probably not bringing DeMar DeRozan back.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, which who knows? Maybe DeMar DeRozan comes back after the season. So we'll see.
I feel bad for DeMar DeRozan because the reason why he came to Sacramento was to play with De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, and to play with a team that's going to make the playoffs.
Yes.
Like he wanted to make a team that makes the playoffs and competes in the long run.
And then not even through his first season in Sacramento, his coach, the first ever unanimous coach of the year gets fired. And then the star player, which he wanted to go play with, De'Aaron Fox, got traded. So now he's stuck with his old teammate Zach LaVine, who he just left Chicago from, and he's like, I can't get away from this guy.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just feel bad for DeMar DeRozan. Zach LaVine, I don't think he had a choice in coming here.
Okay, so a few of the notes that I have here about Acuff. So Acuff, of course, was John Calipari, a longtime coach in college from Memphis to Kentucky and now at Arkansas. Calipari has a long list of great players drafted. 42 NBA lottery picks he's coached. 13 of them were All-Stars with 43 All-Star appearances, so multiple, including 2 MVPs, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Derrick Rose. He called him a special player. Other things, I think I'm not going to quote that one. Athletic Sam Vincini says the Acuff is the most polished teenage guard to enter the league in years.
Most polished teenage guard to enter the league in years.
Yeah.
More than
Darren Peterson, maybe? I don't know. There's at least sporting-wise, he's pretty good. Jay Billa says he's the best guard in the draft after Peterson. Okay. Adding he could wind up being the best offensive player in the draft. He is special. Other thing, I was talking earlier today about, I saw this, Stephen A. Smith. Now, he's sometimes a...
hothead.
Yeah. So...
Idiot.
I don't always listen to him, but sometimes you're like, let's just see what he says. Now, his take was not necessarily, wow, the Sacramento Kings did a good job. His take was, what were the Brooklyn Nets thinking, and why didn't you take him? He is a star. He's going to sell tickets. He's going to be on billboards. He's somebody that you're going to market. He's going to draw people in. And when Stephen A. likes to be loud and flamboyant, is all over, hey, you guys, Brooklyn Nets, why aren't you getting him? Sacramento got somebody. Now, he thought, he doesn't know everything. He said some things, and you're like, oh, he's like, but that's wrong about Sacramento. So,
yeah,
okay, but I taking the fact that he was like, well, why didn't you pick him? The team in Brooklyn, like you just lost. The Knicks just won the championship. You're in New York. You need somebody to put on the billboards, and you didn't draft this dude. What the heck are you thinking? Says, okay, yeah, almost everybody knows, or everybody knows. Part of me is like, why did the Brooklyn Nets Mikael Brown? Now maybe Mikael Brown's going to be this really awesome player, and they're both going to be really, really good.
Like you said,
I don't know.
Like you said, if you look at the draft video reactions of the Brooklyn Nets war room, they were so excited they were able to get Mikael Brown.
Yeah.
So
and he's supposed to be a really good player. He was just hurt his back. He's taller than Acuff, so maybe that's why he's better defense. He's taller.
Yeah.
They have a whole bunch of other guards, so they need a taller guard. Okay, I get it. And if you rate them similar, okay, fine. And hey, and Acuff doesn't want to come here, but Mikael Brown does. Okay, that makes sense. But from some aspect, you're like, as a Sacramento Kings and some other people, you're like, thank you, Brooklyn Nets. So
I'm going to cash my check now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Anything else you want to say on Acuff? We spent like almost 25 minutes on him, which is not a bad thing.
I do want to see how the relationship between him, Nick Clifford, or Emmanuel Sharp, whichever one ends up starting more, and then Maxine Renault and sort of Keegan Murray looks like. I want to see what those people look like. I want to see what their relationship basketball-wise and also outside of basketball. I want to see if they become best friends. I want to see if they throw lobs to each other during games. I want to see if how well they set screens for each other. I want to see them joking with each other on the sideline when they're both on the bench.
I'm curious what our summer league team's going to be like. Now, I'm going to be out of the country because I'm on a business class.
We talked about this.
We talked about that. I'm out of the country for a little bit, so I'm going to miss all the summer league action.
Yeah.
But I'm very curious how they look. I think it's July 4th is their first game, and they actually play the Brooklyn Nets in Sacramento. So Mikael Brown, Darius Acuff will get to play each other. The first game is putting on their professional jerseys. Now, it's still summer league.
Yeah.
But I'm very curious to see what happens there. Will Nick Clifford play? Will Maxime Renaud? Will Dylan Cardwell play? Could you have majority of your, because the Kings had 3 rookies last year, and they got 3 rookies this year. And, that's probably your summer league team throwing a few.
We also
players.
don't know if we're going to get any undrafted players as well this season. I don't think we're going to do that because we have 3 draft picks, but
I mean, if you look at the history of the Kings, a 2-way player contract from the Kings is not a bad thing. So
Keon Ellis and Dylan Cardwell.
Yeah, exactly. So
I
think even Daquan Plowden.
I want to say this again. I know we said this last time we talked about this. Who the heck found Dylan Cardwell on the Kings? He was I wouldn't say he was a nobody. He was less than a nobody. He's tall and he plays defense. He got to college for that.
Yeah.
But he averaged less than 10 points in almost all of his collegiate career, right?
It was 5.
Less than 5?
He was 5.5. He averaged.
So how the heck did you find Dylan Cardwell? Great player. Love him. Great guy. Well, how the heck did he get here?
I know. Okay. Moving on to our second pick in the draft. We knew the Kings wanted to move into the end of the second round. It was just a matter of could they? Could they trade Sabonis and get a pick in the teens? Could they do something to move up? But the things were coming out, and the things were that they weren't going to give up a whole lot to get there. So they ended up trading the number 34th pick in the second round and a future second-round pick. I haven't heard which one that is, but whatever. He moved up to the 29th pick, so the second-to-last pick in the first round, and picks Alex Karaban. He's out of UConn. He was a redshirt senior, so he was in college for 5 years.
Yeah.
He started for 4 years, basically, and he played 33 one season. But he started all but one game in his career, 40 games, 33, 39, 38 games he started.
I think the most important, I don't know if it's stat technically is the correct term for this, but the most important thing about Alex Karaban is that he is the most winningest player in the University of Connecticut history. He went to, out of his 4 years that he played, excluding the redshirt freshman year, the 4 years he played, he went to 3 national championships and won 2 of them. If you're the Sacramento Kings and you just had one of the worst seasons that I can remember, and you want to go to have a culture changer, you go get a winner. And this guy is Alex Karaban is the definition of winner.
And a great quote. So this is the quote from the Ringer. I love this. In a rare moment of clear-headed culture building, the Kings traded back into the first round to land one of the biggest winners in college basketball history. Alex Karaban is exactly what Mike said. Is a culture builder.
Yes.
One of the stories that came out from him from
Draft Combine?
No, not Draft Combine. The workout in Sacramento. So Kings had workout of 60-something players. Almost every workout you bring in 6 players. You bring in they play 3-on-3.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they do shooting drills afterwards. So it's kind of a workout 3-on-3 type of thing. When Alex Karaban came through, the report was at the end of the practice, the media actually get to come in and watch. And when he was out there watching, he was the one that was the biggest cheerleader for the guys. Now, basically these tryouts or these workouts, they're basically they're job interviews. And he is being the one saying, like if Max was like, Max, come on, you can make that shot. Come on, let's go. Let's go. You missed that one. You got the next one. You got the next one. Let's go. Like that's what he was saying, constantly building everybody up. Like even in a guy that he doesn't know these and people that he is competing against for jobs, he's the one building it up. Now, he can play too.
Yes.
But like he's the guy that okay, he's probably not going to be a starter. Okay. So you need this unflashy shooter, culture building, loves to play the game, winningest player, knows what it takes to win. That's what Alex Karaban is.
And I talked to you about this before, is that what I said what I said earlier. Darius Acuff, very quiet person, sort of reserved. He doesn't talk that much to other people, but he is a leader because he's the best player in the room.
He's gonna set example, but it's gonna be quiet.
Yes. Alex Karaban is the guy who's going to come and talk to you. He's going to be the friendly face that comes talk to you, sort of like Dylan Cardwell in a way. He's going to come talk to you. He's going to come try to build you up, like you were saying with the workout. It's the character building in this draft class that the Kings had, and also the roster fitting that we have in this draft class is a masterclass by Scott Perry, because you get the quiet guy who's the best scorer in the room, and he doesn't need to say that much. And then you get Alex Karaban, who's a glue guy. Doesn't usually show up on the stat sheet. He's a tall guy who'll get rebounds. He wants to pass to you. He was the guy who passed to his teammate to make the game-winning shot against Duke in the final.
I think that was Final Four.
In the Final Four.
Final Four. He got the pass.
Saw Cameron Boozer in front of him. Went, I ain't shooting this. Turns, sees. I don't even remember his name. It's just sees his teammate open and passes it to him.
And he made the game-winning three, which is in between. It was closer to half-court type of shot. Amazing shot. Alex Karaban was the one that Scott Van Pelt interviewed. So like when Scott Van Pelt interviews you, he's the leader of the team. He's like, I didn't have a great shooting game, but it was not that. It was like I was covered, so I passed the team off. I knew the guy was going to make the shot. At 100%. He's the guy that's building his teammate. Let me go. Here's some quotes here. This is from San Vincini of The Athletic. I tend to be a fan of winning basketball players. Shouldn't be a standard. I like Karaban. It's harder than you think to find players who can knock down shots from the perimeter and be solid team defenders. Hey, he's a 3-and-D player. What have the Kings been needing for a while? Okay. His ability to make decisions, he's help a team. He makes decisions. He moves the ball quickly. He knocks down shots. He moves incredibly well without the ball. On defense, he's always in the right position. Consistently reads plays correctly. Disrupts what the opposition needs to do by scrambling well. Like, okay, if you have a Darius Acuff is not the greatest defender and needs help, you got a Dylan Cardwell, you got Alex Karaban, you got other players that are defensive players that are going to talk out there on the court. They're going to help each other, and then you get better together as a team.
The things I want to say about Alex Karaban, this is from CBS Sports. They said for Alex Karaban, he shot 53% on unguarded catch-and-shoot three-pointers. When this guy is open in the corner and you forget about him, you're going to go on the bench. He is a high field processor of the game, excellent passer within the flow of the offense, who makes quick reads with the ball and is equally as good as a cutter.
I'm curious, like if this season I can get to doing some cut-ups, because I don't know if I will be coaching this year, but of doing some cut-ups of the high IQ of Alex Karaban this year. Like I hope he's in the rotation. I'm curious to see what they're going to do rotation-wise. But I hope he's in the rotation. He's probably not going to be a starter because in some ways you got, like if you briefly look at wings, you're probably starting some sort of combination of Keegan Murray, DeAndre Hunter, maybe Precious Achua. But if you still have Sabonis, maybe Maxine Renault starts as your 4. So like this guy's not going to start. Okay, but hopefully he's in the rotation and he's the ultimate guy. But also I think he's, as a rookie, he's going to come in, and if he doesn't play a game, he's still going to be a great team.
Yeah. The main thing I want to say about this and our entire draft class, not just about Alex Karaban, is I'm so excited for the Kings' young core. Like at the end of the season, when we are basically just playing all young guys and somehow winning games with the young guys.
Yeah.
But I want to see this team grow. I want to see this team learn. And because of that, I really, really want these veterans gone. I don't want DeMar DeRozan. I don't want DeMar DeRozan hogging minutes. I don't want Zach LaVine hogging minutes. I don't want Domantas Sabonis hogging minutes. I want Maxine Renaud to play. I want Alex Karaban to play. I want Dylan Cardwell to play, Nick Clifford, and Darius Acuff.
You do need to sprinkle in some veterans. So
yeah,
like
some veterans. You can keep Precious Achua. You can keep Keegan Murray. You can keep Malik Monk. You can...
Yeah.
You can keep all these people who are going to like veterans to like play with the rookies, play with the young guys. But I want to see these young guys play.
I know,
because you were talking. The best teacher in any sport is practice, and you can't be a better in-game player if you never get in the game.
And I think Doug Christie proved last year. He, as a coach, he said he grew. And as a coach, seeing what he was doing, you could definitely sell. What he was growing in coaching was the young guys, and the young guys were responding to him. Maybe it's him and his coaching staff, but the way the young guys improved last year throughout the season, even a Daquan Plowden, who's been in the league for 4 or 5 years, finally flashed with the Kings. The Precious Achua, who at the beginning of the season was sitting on his couch and not on a team, and you sign him and he's your starting power forward for majority of the season. You're like, the way that Doug Christie coached these guys up, I'm very curious to see how he coaches up these new 3 players as you get into it. Okay, let's get into our last pick that just happened probably a little over an hour ago. The 45th pick of the NBA draft here by the Sacramento Kings. They picked Emanuel Sharp. He's a guard out of Houston. He's 6'2", 3/4", 208 pounds, 6'3" wingspan. He's 22 years old. Hometown is Orlando, Florida. Okay, so if you compare him height-wise, he's very similar to ACUFF. So probably why he lasted the 45th pick is because he's a little undersized for a shooting guard, because he's not a point guard. So he's a little undersized, which is why he lasted. But also, if you say, what was Darius ACUFF? He's an amazing shot creator, not great at defense. What is Emanuel Sharp? Really good at defense. Now, ACUFF can still shoot. But Emanuel Sharp is kind of your 3-and-D guard. Not a wing, because he's only 6'2", but he's great at defending. He's good at working through his size. He can shoot like crazy. He's kind of like a great compliment to ACUFF in some ways.
Yeah.
He played with Kingston Fleming. His last 3 years, he shot 37%, I think it was. Or 1 year was 37, one was 41, and then this past year was 37 again. So maybe around 38% for his last 3 years in college. And a pretty high, not as high volume as ACUFF, but still a decent volume. And so he played 4 years in college. He was a redshirt also, just like so same age as Alex Karaban, older guys. Which, side note, we talked last episode about with NIL, sophomores, juniors are staying and they're getting their 4 years.
Yeah.
What that also means is you get more polished players coming out in the draft. You get an Emanuel Sharp, you get an Alex Karaban, who have gone through and they come in ready to play because they have the experience. They have in the offseason, I need to go work on this. And you stay with the same team. Both of these, I think, stayed with their team. Alex Karaban and Emanuel Sharp stayed with the same team, which is rare for this era with transfer portals and NIL.
Yeah.
But he stayed with the team, and he grew every season. And he got better, and he learned how to be a better teammate. And you get these more polished players is kind of the benefit of the NIL. It's like you're not getting them as early, but they come out more polished. You really get to see what they're doing. You really see how they improve over the season. You track them over many years, and you get that way.
Yeah. Holland. I kind of hope I say this right. Hollinger of the Athletics said. I think I quoted this at the start. Did the Kings just do something smart or sharp? Dare I say? Get it? Because his name is Emanuel Sharp. Do you get the joke?
Yeah, I do.
Sharp was one of his favorite sleepers, a 3-and-D guard. I mean, if you need a defensive guard after you just drafted Darius ACUFF, he sounds like a good guy who launches bombs, and despite being undersized, willingly checks top guards and wings. He'll fit in nicely on a roster that could use this skill set, and I wonder if he could play right away. And he gave the draft pick a grade of A. But I don't have a but. It's just this guy, this draft class. I'm so impressed by this draft class. There's like nobody. I'm like, okay, I guess I sort of see the vision. Like when we drafted Devin Carter 2 years ago. I'm like, I mean, I guess I see it. Like he could be a really good defender, and like he is Devin Carter is a good defender. He just doesn't do much else. But I am excited. I want to see these young guys play.
Devin Carter thinks he's still going to be a great scorer in the league.
Yeah.
Emanuel Sharp, when you read his thing here, he knows his role. He's a 3-and-D guard. Okay. He plays good defense, and he can shoot like crazy.
Well, sometimes Devin Carter also thinks he's still going to have hair by 30. So,
yeah. Anyway.
That's a joke about his hairline, if any of you don't get the joke.
Yes, I get it, but I don't know if you have to explain the joke for everybody out there.
Look up an image online. Very easy to find.
One thing I do have to say about this one here is I couldn't give him a first-round grade on Sharp, mainly because he's kind of small.
Yeah.
So you pick him at 45. Sam Vincini, again, also had him ranked 33 overall, and we got him at the 45th pick.
Another player that was ranked number 33 and turned out pretty good in the second round, Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with this. I'm fine with this pick.
No. If you look at this, there's no way all three of these players are going to be like starters.
Yeah.
And there's no guarantee that all three of these, I hope that, now, if Darius Acuff doesn't turn into who we think it is, then this is going to be a horrible draft.
Yes.
Okay, he's the thing. But between Alex Karaban and Emanuel Sharp, you're looking for one of those to turn into a rotational player. If you get both of them, that's a benefit. That's an amazing draft. But between Emanuel Sharp and Alex Karaban, you're looking for, at least one that can be in rotation and one of them that can stay on the team for, multiple seasons. Like, as a 45th pick, that's all you're looking for is a guy who can make the team, and he's probably going to be your third string guard in some way. Like, he's Emanuel Sharp, I don't think is going to be in your rotation to start the season. Yeah, because if you think about it, is he going to? First off, he has to beat out Devin Carter, we just talked about,
and he also has to beat out Nick Clifford.
Well, you have Nick Clifford, you got Malik Monk, and you still have Zach LaVine on the team. Now, I don't know if he's going to be on the team when we get there.
Please leave. I technically,
he's the funny thing is Zach LaVine. He's a really good player. He doesn't fit. We've talked about that many times. He doesn't fit. And if he stays on this team, I don't think he's guaranteed a starting spot. I don't think he's going to, and you're going to ruin your chance to get more money. You should go and play for a team that's just like DeMar DeRozan. That should be competing for the playoffs.
You should go to Detroit, the Miami Heat, because they just traded a bunch of players. Like they need scorers that can go shoot because they have Giannis and Bam now. They just lost Tyler Hero. They need someone to fill in Tyler Hero's spot.
That's actually not a bad idea to put him with Giannis. I wonder if that'd be an interesting spot because they lost Tyler Hero. They need a shooter. They need a scorer. And one thing I heard, so this came from, I think James Ham was the guy, so I give credit where we got these ideas from, good ideas of, originally we were thinking, hey, maybe you just stretch provision him, which lasts over 3 years. We've heard, okay, that's not going to happen. But maybe you just buy him out. And the buyout would be, says, okay, it's $49 million. Yeah, it's going to $49 million. Okay. But if you do a buyout and you say, okay, we need to give you back some money. Because if you buy it, we're not going to pay the whole 40. That's the whole purpose of a buyout. Otherwise, you could just cut them, and you still have to pay them the whole money anyway, because it's guaranteed. Okay, but if you buy them out at say a $15 million discount, so that's $34 million, saves the Kings $15 million against their cap. But now Zach LaVine can go out and say, and then the $15 million is really, really close to what the mid-level exception is. So you can go to most teams, have a mid-level exception, like say Detroit, Miami, or other players that need scoring, shooting out there, right? Okay. So he can, if he gets the $15 million from that, and he gets, say, 3 years, $50 million, so like a 3-year, $45 million deal, he now has money more guaranteed, and he's still making $49 million this year because the Kings would pay him $34 and his new team would pay him $15. So he'd still get his money, but then the Kings only have to pay $34 of it. And in some ways, you're like, I'm sorry, you're probably not going to get much out of him anyway. And in some ways, you want to see, can Nick Clifford be a starter? Can
Emanuel Sharp come and play more minutes?
You still have Daquan Plowden, who was really good last year. If you're starting Daquan Plowden, that's probably not a great thing. But maybe you're starting Darius Acuff with Nick Clifford, and then your guard rotation has Malik Monk and Daquan Plowden. Okay, well, the only one's not bad at, well, Malik Monk's not great at defense, but you have Daquan Plowden and Nick Clifford both play really good defense. Then you still have Devin Carter and Emanuel Sharp as your 6 guards. Okay. Then you look at your starting wings. It probably depends on what you do with Sabonis. If Sabonis is still there, then you're probably starting Nick Clifford. Keegan
Murray?
Keegan Murray with Maxine Renault. Sorry, forwards, not Nick Clifford. Maxine Renault. So if you're starting Sabonis, you probably go with the double big with Maxine and him. If you get rid of Sabonis, then you're probably starting Maxine Renault with DeAndre Hunter and Keegan Murray. If you keep Sabonis again, so now you're bringing DeAndre Hunter off the bench, you're bringing Precious Achiuwa off the bench, you're bringing Dylan Carter off the bench. There's probably a couple of guys in there that I'm forgetting about who else we have on the team. But that's a decent rotation. Now, is that going to make the playoffs?
No.
But it's a much younger team than you started
100%.
with last year. So you have veterans is probably Malik Monk and Sabonis.
I want to say one name that I think we're both forgetting when we're saying these matchups and lineups. DeMar DeRozan.
I'm assuming
he's going to be traded.
Him and Zach LaVine are not on the team.
Okay.
And you could still bring back Russell Westbrook. But then as you look at your lineup, where is he going to play?
Like I said,
and does he want to come into a team that's going to let him play, or is he just going to come and be your backup point guard? I don't know. Maybe he wants to back up Darius Acuff.
Like I said, with the Vince Carter and De'Aaron Fox, Vince Carter didn't play that much.
No, I don't remember if he was a starter or not. But he's not a starter. He did play decent.
He did play, but he wasn't like a starter. So I think that like a Russell Westbrook could fit into that aspect of there's Darius Acuff and then there's Russell Westbrook, and then there's I don't know, someone else underneath him, but it's just
Emanuel, maybe I think they still have like a Killian Hayes. I think was they signed him for this. They signed him toward the end of last season and gave him a draft. So he'd be a great third string point guard, and technically still Devin Carter, as a backup point guard.
Yeah,
but I'm okay with bringing Russell Westbrook. Now the other thing is with Russell Westbrook starting, if you're starting Nick Clifford, you're probably bringing Malik Monk off the bench instead of the size of a Daquan Plowden. But whatever. I think we could live with that. And again, I don't think Daquan Plowden and Precious Achiuwa need to get re-signed. But if you can get rid of Zach LaVine like we talked about, and if you let DeMar DeRozan go, both of those want to be on teams that are competing for the playoffs.
The thing for this Kings roster,
or I would think they
would.
Then
like moving on forward with that is that the main thing that Scott Perry needs to try to do either this season or next offseason as well, you need to trim the fat. Because we got a lot of players. We got young guys we want playing time with, and we want to be good, but we got a lot of players.
And I think that's where getting rid of Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan,
and
even
Sabonis.
Though they are probably going to be one of the bigger players, bigger. They're way more talented than we have, more established NBA players.
Yes.
But we're going to the youth movement, and we're going in a different direction. We're going a different direction, and they probably don't want to be here either way because they want to. That's not the direction they want to be here either. So I don't think they would feel bad of, it's just a matter of contracting. And with DeMar DeRozan, he's guaranteed $10 million. So similar to Zach LaVine, if you can buy him out for a $15 million discount, like Kings would still be paying him. He'd still technically cut against the salary cap for a little bit, but then next year the money rolls off. And you get a lot of money back. For next year to actually do something with.
Yeah, maybe you could go sign some big player that it's gonna. Who's hitting? I think technically Luka is a free agent next year, but I don't remember if he got extended or not.
Luka Doncic?
I don't remember.
You're not going to get Luka Doncic.
I'm just saying names of players.
But if you were to go get, say, if you were to get a start, if you keep Sabonis, it depends on where you're going. But maybe you go and maybe Nick Clifford's not your long-term starter. Maybe you sign a 3-and-D type of player to go against Darius Acuff. Now you get the compliment that you'd want with the Darius Acuff after a season, and you got money to go do that.
Players that are unrestricted free agents for the 2027 season: R.J. Barrett, Jimmy Butler.
Well, R.J. Barrett has a history with Scott Perry.
And then
I could see R.J. Barrett.
Drew Holiday has a player option. If he wants to accept that, he'd still be on the Trailblazers for 2027. And then Josh Hart as well. I think he's going to stay on the Knicks. But
yeah, I think he's the type of player that would work really good. But I think R.J. Barrett would be more likely.
But the point is that if you're able to trim the fat of DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Domantas Sabonis, and then you establish the young guys that you want to move forward with, then you can go, okay, we're gonna go sign sort of like how we tried to do with DeMar DeRozan. And I guess Sabonis in a way, we're going to go sign for a player. We're going to go trade for a big name player, established guy who can lead us to the next step.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious to see what, type of thing. But the major thing I would see is if you look at all this, there's two things I want to end with. The Kings have hope.
Yeah.
I think I finally see, we finally have
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
There's light at the end of the tunnel. Yes. Are we going to win more than 22 games this year? Probably. Are we hitting 40? Definitely not.
Are we going to be somewhere in between the 25, 35 range? Probably somewhere there.
Yeah, the hard thing is that, now you start thinking about, okay, where are we at in the rankings of teams and who's the best teams and worst teams?
Which, if you want to be mediocre next year, sounds great for me for draft picks.
Yeah, because the 4 to 7 is where you don't want to be in the relegations. You don't want to be the bad team. I think that Chris is going to get these players to play hard.
Yeah.
I think they won't be. But then you're like, well, who's the best team in the league? We'll get to that in a future episode. But we have direction. We have a hope.
Yeah.
We have supposedly a guy here in Darius Acuff that can be a star. Like, we finally have the hope that you're like, because before him, you're like, okay, I know the flickers we got last year are not going to be. I know Keegan Murray's a really good player, but
the rookies we got last year?
The rookies we got last year.
You did not pronounce that very well.
Sorry. The rookies we got last year are really good players, but they're not stars. They're not going to be the leaders of a team. You got Keegan Murray, who's probably the third best option on a team. I think that's as good as he's going to get. Darius Acuff is going to be your one or your two player. Some people call it your Batman versus your Robin, your number one player versus your number two player. Acuff is going to be one of those two players. Now, is he going to be your number one or number two? I don't know. You're still going to have to get that other big star to become a championship level team, and you're going to have to let everybody grow. But you're starting to get a team in Scott Perry's image that you want. Other thing here, I want to end with. When can we buy a Darius Acuff jersey?
You can. There's the discount for graduates, which would apply to me, where you can waive the fee for custom jerseys if you use code GRAD26 on kingsteamstore.com.
Yeah, but you got to know Acuff's jersey number first.
True.
And he can't wear 5 because Nate Clifford's 5, unless he's going to buy it off of Nate Clifford.
I don't think he's
going to.
I think he might wear 15 is my idea.
Oh, is there a 15 on our team right now?
I don't think there's a 15 unless it's like Killian Hayes, and I don't know what number he
15
wears.
I'm thinking is DeMarcus Cousins. But
the 15 I'm thinking of is Davion Mitchell, but I don't know but I guess you're right too.
Yeah, there've been a few things,
but
either way, I'm very curious to see. Will the Eastman Sport Report resporting a Darius Acuff jersey
within the next 1 to 2 years? Yes,
probably the 1 2 years, as long as he's doing good, then definitely. So,
but I'm very, very excited with the direction that I'm excited that I feel like the Kings actually have a direction, because with Monte McNair, a lot of the stuff felt like, okay, I guess I see the point here, and it's like it could be good, but like I see the idea. It's going to take a few years of being bad, which I'm fine with that. It took 16 years to make the playoffs, almost 17, but I'm fine with like 1 to 3 years or 1 to 3 more years of whatever's happening if we can manage to be a really good team, like how the Detroit Pistons are, like how the Cleveland Cavaliers rebuilt, like how even the New York Knicks, who are really bad for how long?
It takes them a couple of years. Yeah.
I'm excited to see what this Kings team is going to look like in the next few years. So
yeah, but we finally have some hope, some stuff.
Yeah.
So anything else you want to add here before we wrap up?
It's the youth movement is the main thing I can say. Like I said, you got to trim the fat. You got to out with the old and with the new. You got a lot of stuff. The Kings have a lot of stuff they need to move on from their owner.
I don't know if you can do that, but we got Scott Perry, who's we've got some faith in. We'll see. Yeah. So Scott Perry still has work to do, like we talked about.
Yeah.
You still got to figure out what you're doing. DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine.
Yeah.
Sabonis, people like him. Like, he's still top 5 center in the league. You don't just give up. But you don't give that player away for nothing. We'll see what happens to that. From an Eastman Sport Report perspective, we will at least not have an episode for the next couple of weeks. I don't know if we'll have another one before we get to kind of our new season 4 in August, when we're getting to NFL previews.
Which at the start of season, we're probably going to make either a post. I don't know if we have the community tab on YouTube yet, but if we do, we're gonna talk about or do a short video on YouTube, just like how we did the other update video a few days ago, of like what's happening, what's going on, just like to be transparent. Or maybe I'm gonna post something on Instagram. Follow us at Eastman Sport Report on Instagram. I don't post a lot on there. I probably should do more. I'm gonna do more in the next season, which hopefully I have more free time for college when I'm not spending almost an hour and a half driving every single day to and from school. But
and you're not playing three sport athlete over there, so you'll be working and going to college. But yes, maybe so. You stay tuned for Eastman Sport Report, where we're looking forward to all the new content we're going to have in season 4. Yeah. If something exciting happens in July, we might do another July one to wrap up season 3. But if not, this might be our last episode for season 3. Thanks everybody for listening. It's been a great, exciting episode. We've had our most watched episodes in season 3. We thank every one of you for listening,
and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.